will start with the first item. And I wish to invite the Deputy Minister for Public Enterprises, Honorable Obed Babela, to lead this briefing by giving a political overview and make his introductory remarks, and then he will then introduce the team from Alexkor and how they will proceed with the presentation. Honorable Deputy Minister, it's always a pleasure to have you. You've been very consistent, like a true revolutionary that we know over many scores of years. We now give you the floor, Honorable DM. Deputy Minister.
Sorry, I was not aware I'm muted. My apology.
Okay.
I was just saying thank you very much to you, Honorable Mkiva, as the chairperson of the Public Enterprises and Communications Select Committee in the NCOP, and all honorable members of the NCOP and of this committee in particular present. Also with me is the chairperson, the interim chairperson of Alexkor, Ms. Trish Hanekom, and then also the interim or acting CEO of Alexkor, Professor Trevor Fowler is also present, and also the acting DG of the department, Ms. Jackie Mudisane, with the DDG Kubeshni present, and others that are here. Chair, just to indicate that the acting DG, after introducing the team, should also want to be excused because of other assignments and activities. But we have the management of Alexkor and the board of Alexkor who also took an interest, even though they were not invited, that they also want to attend, and they are here. And then they will obviously be partaking based on the questions that honorable members are raising. So if that is permitted, and then I think you are so fortunate that they just took a keen interest to join so that they can then hear and understand the nature of the engagement, the debates, and if there are questions to the board or questions to the management, they can also answer. Therefore, with that, Chair, Alexkor is one of the entities that are reporting and responsible to the Department of Public Enterprises. We are a shareholder on behalf of government and the people of South Africa in this entity. And it has an interim board and also interim management led by the acting CEO. For reasons known already, that at some point it was one of that state-owned company that got affected by corruption and the state capture, and then its financial situations being affected as a result along the way. But I must give an assurance to the honorable members that since we brought in this interim board and the acting CEO, things have turned around and then very, very positive, I must say. Not yet where we want Alexkor to be before the state capture, but at least going in the right direction with now the financial situation having improved, cash reserves being there, and in the business as a going concern and doing well. And I think we really want to congratulate the hard work by the board when they came in to really turn the situation around. It was one of those state-owned entities that was in a difficult situation. But those crises are now going, and soon they will be appointing a permanent management team that will be coming on board, led by a permanent CEO and a CFO to really ensure stability going forward. And we hope therefore that once that situation happens, we will then begin to then look at Alexkor as one of those critical state-owned entities that will fulfill the developmental agenda of the country as is. So, Chair, I think we also have this situation that we are going to be focusing mainly on, and the report really deals with it substantively around the issue of the Richtersveld community who had a land claim and then successfully so, and the conditions of the claims, which we are now fulfilling, the challenges that are still there here and there, but rebuilding nonetheless going forward to ensure that the land claims is fulfilled. At the same time, a new company was established where the Richtersveld community is a beneficiary of all Alexkor activities, and then itself, that joint venture, having had its own challenges, but we are repurposing it also so that it can then fulfill its objectives. But the land claims issues, they will also be, they are in the report in terms of what was it and what is it that we have implemented, what is outstanding on the implementation going forward. But Alexkor obviously had also commissioned a study in terms of the future of Alexkor, but the report is still new and we are still processing it both as a department, the board and the management, and we'll come back to it at some point when we are ready now to look at having fulfilled the study and also what the recommendation says. So we'll not talk much about it today, just as a way of preempting members not to be asking questions on it. We still are processing the matter, but nonetheless, Chair, I think let's focus on the agenda at hand, which is going to be the land claim and the fulfillment, the challenges, and where things are, as is the case. DG, through the permission of the Chair, you can introduce your management and then indicate who's going to be presenting the report. I hope it has been circulated to all members, and even when it's flighted, we take it as read. Thank you very much.
DM, through you, Chair. The DG had to step out of the meeting. There is a protest at the headquarters. She was called to quickly attend to it. The DDG is here, Kubeshni, and head him. Thanks, dear.
Okay.
Thanks.
So, Chair, with your permission, then if you can allow the DDG Kubeshni to then present the team and also start presenting the report. With your permission, Chair, I open my camera, but I'll switch it off because of challenges of connectivity where I am, and probably some might be facing a similar situation. But I've seen that SABC is also as linked to us besides the parliamentary channel. So I'm not sure how you are going to be managing it. Thank you very much.
No, DM, thank you so much for your opening remarks. And indeed, we will allow your team to proceed. We will, however, encourage those that the signal is stable where they are located to actually do open their cameras, because indeed the SABC is connected. So I am not sure whether there's a live feed or they are recording, but we have them on the line because this is a matter of national interest. And then the team can continue. Thanks, DM.
Okay. Good morning, Honorable Chairperson, committee members, and Honorable DM. I'm Kubeshni Bagwandin, and I'm the head of the unit. And I will be briefing the committee this morning on the progress made regarding the implementation of the settlement agreement between Alexkor and the Richtersveld community. In the room present with me, I have my team of specialists who will also assist in answering questions. So Just getting the presentation up. I will be giving you a brief overview of the background this morning, as well as detailed information on the provisions of the settlement, the status update, transfer of residential properties, and 45 million rand. We'll discuss Alexkor Bay Township establishment and the transfer of the municipal assets. In 2003, the Richtersveld community won the right at the Constitutional Court to have land and mineral rights appropriated by the apartheid government overturned. The government was then ordered to compensate the community for the loss of economic benefit and ordered to bear the cost of restoring the mined land to original condition. In response to this court order, the community and government negotiated a settlement, which was agreed in 2007, and this became known as the Deed of Settlement. The government responsibilities were to be carried out through the Departments of Agriculture, Land Restitution and Land Development, Public Enterprises, National Treasury, the Northern Cape Provincial Government, and the Richtersveld municipality. The blocks in orange showed the historic progression of what had transpired. And important to note is timeline 2011, where Alexkor and Richtersveld Mining Company created a pooling and sharing joint venture. Then in 2012, the Richtersveld Agricultural Holdings Company was liquidated, and in February 2020, Dalgrad was granted an order to place Richtersveld Communal Property Association under judicial administration. And then in February 2023, the RCPA judicial administration was then terminated. So in summary, the government and the Richtersveld community agreed to the following: the transfer and restoration of portions of land by the state and Alexkor to the Richtersveld community, the transfer of Alexkor's land mining rights to the Richtersveld mining community, and the setting up of Alexkor RMC and the setting up, of Alexkor RMC pooling and sharing joint venture. The state through Alexkor would capitalize this PSJV with 200 million in order to restore the mining operations. The transfer of Alexkor's mariculture and agricultural assets to the Richtersveld Agricultural Holding, a sum of 190 million was to be paid as reparation to the Richtersveld Investment Holding Company over 3 years, 50 million development grant to be paid as a lump sum development grant to the RIHC for agriculture and mariculture, 45 million rand to be paid to the Richtersveld Property Holding Company as compensation for Alexkor's occupation on transferred residential properties for 10 years, the establishment of a township at Alexandra Bay, including the upgrade of the municipal infrastructure to be handed over to the Richtersveld municipality, and environmental rehabilitation of historic mining areas. In order to protect the interest of the community, the deed of settlement was sought to create a very comprehensive structure. And this is what's indicated in the diagram. It consists of trusts and companies to house the interests of the community. The deed of settlement directed that at least 2 trusts and 8 companies be established to manage and operate the various business dealings of the CPA, and more than 50 directors are required to oversee the interests of the community. You can also see that the PSG, you could see that there's a percentage as well, where 49% was the Richtersveld Mining Company and Alexkor had 51%. And since the Richtersveld Agricultural Holding has been liquidated. So in terms of the status update, the orange indicates Alexkor, and other government departments' obligations. The gray boxes indicate obligations that do not involve DPE or Alexkor. These are the responsibilities of the Department of Agriculture, Rural Development and Land Reform. The responsibility of DPE as carried out by Alexkor was to ensure the transfer of land-based mining rights and the establishment of the PSJV, the transfer of Alexkor's mariculture and agricultural assets, the transfer and restoration of portions of land by the state and Alexkor to the Richtersveld community, transfer of residential properties, and a 45 million rand upfront payment for occupation of properties. Alexkor has fulfilled all the obligations with exception of Block 6, 7, and 8, and this will be discussed in the subsequent slides. In terms of the continuation of the status update, the green indicates what has been completed, as well as the orange is now indicating what has been partially completed. So if we can focus on point number 2 and point number 4, because this is where there's still progress to be made and activities need to be completed. So in terms of number 2, transfer and restoration of portions of land by the state and Alexkor. Here, the Richtersveld Property Holdings Company. Okay, so the Richtersveld Property Company had it consisted of 12 farm portions, about 500 residential properties, and then the 45 million rand. The transfer of the residential properties and payment of the 45 million rand is outstanding. In terms of the establishment of a township at Alexandra Bay, including the handing over to the Richtersveld municipality, the township was registered in November 2013. Upgrades have been completed to municipal infrastructure, and the services for municipal services has not been handed over or completed, and this is still ongoing. So due to the remoteness of the diamond operations, the settlement agreement directed that Alexkor would retain the use of the residential properties for a period of 10 years. To this effect, Alexkor would advance 45 million rand as upfront rental payment to the property holdings company to secure the residency for their employees. The transfer of properties and payment of the 45 million is delayed due to the Richtersveld Property Holdings Company established to oversee the property assets of the community being dormant, and the inability of the Richtersveld Communal Property Association to hold prescribed annual meetings and elections of new directors to various structures, including the Property Holdings Company. Following unsuccessful attempts by government to restore governance at Richtersveld CPA, in February 2020, Daldrad was granted an order to place the Richtersveld CPA under judicial administration as per provisions of the Communal Property Association Act 20 of 1996. The administration order sought to, amongst others, restore corporate governance by holding overdue elections of new company directors, ensuring the CPA is able to perform basic functions of holding and managing assets of the community. The elections were held during the course of 2022. Subsequently, the administration order was terminated in February 2023. DELDOT is in the process of handing over the respective functions back to the CPA, and the process to transfer residential properties and the repayment of the 45 million to the property holding company will resume. The 45 million rand is held by Alexkor in a trust account. In terms of status update on the Alexander Bay Township establishment and transfer of municipal asset, under clause 7 of the settlement agreement that was prescribed, Alexkor is required to convert the Alexander Bay village to a formal township. The responsibility of the responsibility to Alexkor. The Alexkor Bay mining village consisted of 2 schools, 2 churches, a hospital, a police station, 199 residential dwellings. The mining compound was to be consolidated into a new cadastral unit on which a township of Alexander Bay was to be established, and this was to fall under the Richtersveld municipality. Certain properties within the established township was to be transferred to various entities, including the CPA, provincial departments, and the municipality. The registration of the first property was completed on 22nd November 2013, and the township of Alexander Bay was incorporated into the Richtersveld municipality. The establishment of the township then necessitated that the municipal engineering services of the mining village needed to be upgraded to municipal standards to allow the Richtersveld local municipality to take over the services and to fulfill all functions within the local authority. The engineering services to be upgraded included the road network, which also includes tarring of roads, the electrical infrastructure, including installation of prepaid meter systems for the residential properties, the mechanical and electrical pumping installations, and the wastewater treatment. The upgrades of the township engineering infrastructure was completed in 2014-2015 financial year, and over 130 million has been spent on the infrastructure upgrades to date. Although Alexkor fulfilled its obligation to upgrade the municipal infrastructure, the Richtersveld local municipality is yet to take over this responsibility of providing services and managing municipal engineering infrastructure. And due to the slow pace of township handover process in 2016-2017, the department had initiated discussions with the Northern Cape provincial government. The discussion led to the establishment of an intergovernmental steering committee to ensure smooth facilitation of the handover process. And the team composed of representatives from various bodies, and this included the Municipal Infrastructure Support Agency, Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, the Department of Agriculture, Land Reform and Rural Development, Alexkor, Northern Cape Provincial District and Local Municipality. The Project Steering Committee is chaired and overseen by the Director General of the Northern Cape Province. In the main, the Richtersveld concerns is taking over, included amongst others, aged infrastructure, poor road infrastructure condition, non-compliance of the electricity network to municipal standards. A memorandum of understanding and traditional plan outlining actions, roles, and responsibilities of respective parties were concluded, and the committee was to monitor implementation of the handover of municipal infrastructure and services. The table that is before you gives all the transitional arrangements between Alexkor and the municipality, landfill site license and agreement. This agreement was concluded between Alexkor and the municipality. Monthly costs for servicing the town. The monthly cost sheet has been submitted to the municipality, and Alexkor is to provide further information for clarity. With regards to the internal road network due diligence, the municipality has conducted provisional assessment. The report is currently being reviewed by the municipality technical team. The training of municipality staff is ongoing. The installation of water and electricity prepaid meters is in progress. The transfer of parks and cemetery and municipal environmental impact assessment has been concluded, and we in the process of transferring of the cemetery. Public participation is a continuous engagement, including all relevant stakeholders. In conclusion, although not completely fulfilled, government has made significant progress in executing the Richtersveld Land and Mineral Settlement Agreement obligation since its conclusion in 2007. And government has to date expended over 1 billion rand in executing the settlement agreement obligations. However, new legislations and policies such as the Spatial Planning and Land Use Management Act of 2013 has presented some challenges in concluding the remaining obligations, as some mandatory obligations were introduced, and these were not anticipated at the time that the settlement agreement was finalized. And to a great extent, these developments have resulted in a handover of municipal services and infrastructure and properties to various institutions, taking longer to conclude. With the CPA being restored and regularized, Alexkor will resume the transfer of properties and financial compensation due to the Richtersveld Property Holdings Company. The settlement agreement in itself is complex, requiring the establishment of 8 companies and 50 directors to manage all the properties and financial assets of the community. The dynamics and complexities of the established entities have resulted in the dysfunction of the CPA and consequently delays in execution of the settlement obligations. In this regard, Delrad is in the process of appointing a company to assist the Richtersveld community in reviewing the current structures with a view of simplifying the structure and establishing an effective governance structure. Thank you. Chairperson, over to you.
Are you handing back to me?
Yes, Chairperson.
Or I thought that you were still saying that one of your colleagues must. No, thank you so much for that presentation. We will first engage with it, and I'm now going to ask the members who wish to raise questions and questions of clarity and make comments to raise their hands so that then we can recognize them. Members, is there any member who would like to have a bite on this presentation on Alexkor? I don't see any hand. There is not a single hand here. Oh, Honorable Ngwenya. Note your hand. Is there any other member? Okay, in the meantime, let's then give you the platform, Honorable Mama Ngwenya. Over to you, Mama.
Thanks very much, Chair, and good morning to all the members and the department, and thank you for the presentation. Chairperson, with the greatest respect, I wish to make the following comment, which is informed by my observation on the matter that is before our committee. Honorable Chair, it looks like every time when we receive a briefing from the department about progress on implementation of the deed of settlement, we are told one. To qualify my concern, last year, we met with the department on the 8th June on the same agenda, and we were told that the overall implementation is almost complete, except for the 2 provinces. We were told that the 45 million was to be paid to the Richtersveld property holding company. In slide 6 of the presentation of today, something we are told that a 45 million has not been paid. Against this year, we are told the same thing that we were told last year. It cannot be acceptable, Honorable Chairperson, that over a year, we are told one thing over again. Someone needs to take responsibility about this slow pace of progress. I'm very much concerned about this slow pace of implementation and the impact it has on the social economic well-being of the people of Richtersveld. Honorable Chairperson, according to the briefing that our committee received from GOCTA this year, on the 3 May, our committee was informed that the CPA of Richtersveld has been formalized and restored since February 2023 and is empowered to take full control of its affairs and is able to implement its governance responsibility. What causes, Chair, I want to check what causes the delay to implement obligation 6,7 and 8 of the agreement of the deed of settlement, which forms part of the court order. Honorable Chair, based on my observation and in the interest of the progress, I wanted to recommend the following. 1, that the Department of DPE must provide the committee with timelines to ensure that Alexkor implement all the outstanding responsibility assigned to it as per the deed of settlement in order to comply with the court order of April 2007. The second one, Chair, I'll check that the implementation of the outstanding responsibility of 6,7 and 8 on the deed of settlement be complete or before the 31 August 2023. The third one, Chair, I want to check that the committee invite the Department of DPE, Alexkor, relevant department, and the Office of the Premier or of Northern Cape between September and October 2023 to report on the impact of progress of the implementation of the deed of settlement to the community of Richtersveld. Honorable Chair, I am raising these important issues because time is against us, and we must ensure that this matter is finalized soon. In isiZulu, Chairperson, we say into into pheliyo iyahlola. We need to conclude this matter before the end of the 6th Parliament. Ngiyabonga. Thanks very much, Chair. Chair, I'm done.
Thank you, Nkosi Mamungwenye kakhulu. Ndiyabona uba uyihlabe esikhongosini because ke you speak on behalf of all of us with all of those matters that you are raising. I don't see any other hand. If you may just lower your hand, Mamungwenye. I don't see any other hand from the members. I guess that the members are pretty much covered. Indeed, most of the matters that you raised, Mamungwenye, are issues that we had raised even last year. Maybe we will have to give the management an opportunity to give us a date by which they will have this thing completed. I think you are suggesting the end of August, which you are giving them almost full months, 2 full months. And I also wanted to check, is the structural arrangements, are they not complex, perhaps, which are made for that community of Richtersveld? Are they simple for them to relate with? Are the structural arrangement really resonate with the nature of the community? And the fact that this is a communal instrument, is it fit for purpose, the arrangements? And what is the difficulty that it has taken so long after having engaged with you last year on this matter, that it is not yet done by now? Because it's really concerning. We pride ourselves with the progress which has been made and the performance, the financial performance of Alexkor in particular. But we are worried when it comes to the task at hand of the completion of the deed of settlement in relation to Richtersveld. This is a sore point for us, and we think that it is an area that needs to really to be prioritized on your part. So we don't have any further engagements from the members. I want to also take this opportunity to thank you for the detailed presentation. I think on the overall, we see the progress, but we want completion. You see, nothing must remain work in progress for good. There has to be a date and time by which things needs to be completed and handed over, and then let the community be at ease to express itself in terms of its own way forward and how they want to move forward, so that they are entirely capacitated to do what is expected of them through their instruments. So let's hear from you to tackle all the matters that Mamungwenye has asked and respond to the suggested timelines as well. DM, you will indicate if you will come at the end, or you will want to comments in terms of responses. But we give.
I'll come at the end, Chair. Thank you.
All right. Okay. And the management team can they then deal with all of these matters?
And also the chairperson of the board has raised the hand.
Oh, okay. Chair of the board, maybe you may want to start, and then your management team can then provide some of the details, and then the DM will conclude. In that order, colleagues.
Thank you very much, Honourable Chairperson and members and the Deputy Minister. I raised my hand just to make one addition from my side, and I thought it might be useful for Professor Fowler to also add some detail on developments in the last few months. But just for purposes of context, to say that when the Alexkor interim board was appointed, and obviously we also have 3 members who serve in the joint board, I think we really got a shock about the institutional arrangements and what was an absence of governance at the time. So there's really good news in terms of improvements over the last year and a half. But it was also your comments, Honourable Chair, are absolutely going to the heart of the matter, which is that these arrangements are absolutely unnecessarily complex. And the good news is that on the 2nd of June, Alexkor had a favourable ruling in a court application to have the court-appointed non-executive directors that have been serving on the PSJV for the last 3 years replaced with members of the CPA who are properly elected as CPA members. We think this is a huge step forward in establishing good relations with the community, but more importantly, in solving intractable problems, including some of the issues referred to by Honourable Ngwenya. So even though we have CPA representatives now on the PSJV board, the RMC is not yet properly constituted because the CPA is still going through its processes of establishing the different companies that are under the CPA in a proper manner. So I thought I would make those comments because I think that it is a huge step forward. We are looking forward to working properly with the CPA representing itself rather than having people who we have no idea how they got to be appointed in the first place as non-executive directors, representing, in inverted commas, the interests of the Richtersveld community and never having had arrangements in place that there were proper briefings and reports to the CPA by the court-appointed representatives. So I think Professor Fowler will comment on the detail of what progress to complement what has already been presented by the DDG on what is and isn't happening and what the impediments are. But one of the impediments is you can't hand over something to a company that hasn't been properly constituted yet. So we are a bit dependent on the regulatory processes, the proper constitution of the different companies. And I can assure you there's no effort being spared in ensuring that progress is made in this regard. So there is a qualitative shift in where we are since the last presentation to the committee. Thank you, Chair, and perhaps you'll allow Professor Fowler and his team to contribute further. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. May I proceed? It's Trevor Fowler.
No, you may proceed, Prof. Fowler, by all means.
Thank you very much. If you don't mind, if I could leave my camera off, the reception is not so, the connectivity is not so good. Thank you.
Sorry, Prof. Yes. Can't you just open it just for reference, because I see the SABC has made that specific. If you can just talk just for a minute, and then after which you can do what you are requesting.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes.
Just to add to what the chair has said, in the presentation, it talked about the relationship between the Northern Cape and the Richtersveld municipality and ourselves and the steering committee that is established. We have met several times this year, and we are pleased to say there has been some progress that has been made. The Richtersveld municipality has in fact applied to NERSA, and we've met with NERSA to address the handover of the electricity services. So we're handing over in phases. So handing over of the electricity services to the Richtersveld municipality. Just to note that the Richtersveld municipality, once the services are handed over, then the 45 million is released. To assist the Richtersveld municipality, we have just recently appointed an additional engineer because they don't have an engineer. They have a person who is responsible for the project, and we've appointed an engineer who would take on the responsibility of addressing some of the issues that would facilitate a more speedy progress on the handover of the services. The next area is that since the establishment of the CPA, we've also developed a fairly good working relationship, and as the chair said, they have elected people to be a part of the management of the mining operations, and there has been constant communication between the chairperson of the CPA and myself on many of these issues around the appointment and also around the handover of services. The next area that we should mention is that we are also looking into ensuring that now that the company is profitable, that we would assist in the establishment of some of the facilities that were there previously, such as the oyster farm and those activities that were handed over to the CPA some 13 years ago, which have eventually collapsed, and the CPA itself is working in partnership with a farmer that is now re-establishing the farming operations that are active in the area. We are also working fairly closely with the Department of the Transnet, because they are working with the Northern Cape Economic Development Agency to establish the Buchu Bay port for the transport of minerals that are mined in the Northern Cape, through the port, which is just 15 kilometers away from Alexander Bay. And we've, with that, also worked with the Northern Cape Economic Development Agency to develop an agreement for them to support some of the local businesses, including contractors, to accelerate the mining operations around the area around where the port is, so that that land can be made fully available for the port's development, which would be a significant addition to the economic activity in the community of Alexander Bay. I think those would be just some key points that I've added. Let me allow, Chair, I'm actually online and away from the office at the moment. Let me allow Leilani Swartboy just to add if there's anything on the handover to the municipality that I have left out. Leilani?
Good morning, Honorable Chair, Deputy Minister, and all members. Mr. Fowler has covered everything. We are in progress with the handing over of the town. Things are going smoothly, and we have, in fact, a meeting next week with the municipality in order to talk about the electricity handover. Some of the services has been delegated to the municipality already. For instance, the refuse removal, which we are sharing at the moment. 1 week the municipality, 1 week Alexkor. However, the municipality has some issues with the budgeting because they have not included the town in the budgets for this year, but it will be included in the following financial year. But we are on par. Mr. Fowler has covered everything. So has Ms. Hanekom. And yeah, we are progressing with the town handover. We will have a meeting with the local municipality and the district municipality next week, and we then will be followed up with the Northern Cape government, the Director General for the municipal services. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
No, thank you so much. I guess that then it concludes your responses on the matters that we have raised. I think the good thing is that you do have the takeaway of the request that we are making in terms of the timelines. Because completion is what we actually require. Maybe then before I make my concluding remarks, the DM, we wish to give you an opportunity to make your concluding remarks.
Chairperson, thank you very much. And also for the members that had raised issues which were adequately responded to. We take note of the period indicated, but there are so many other players other than Alexkor. We'll try, but obviously those other actors ought to be brought on board towards that. The provincial government of the Northern Cape, which is not here, and then also the municipality of Richtersveld, I don't know the name of the municipality, also ought to be taken on board. On certain aspects that are included in the land claims, that they are also have to play a role in, and not just only the transfer of assets. After transferring of assets, they need to also take a role in maintaining those particular assets. But as you have heard, that they wouldn't want to inherit the assets that are in a derelict state. And so that's why they've been refusing to to then see those transfer of properties and assets, and because they are not in a good conditions, truly so, for that matter, and they want them to be in a better condition before they can transfer. So some of the deadline elements could then be delayed by those technicalities or delayed by non-actors, non-actioning, sorry, by the provincial government and the municipality. But we'll do our best to engage them as soon as it can. I am definitely on course to be visiting Alexkor beginning of August myself, and then spending a week or so more days just really going through and engaging all players. And then the CPA, as we have heard, that it has not been having general meetings, and it's not our structure, but if it does not play that game also, it might also impact on the deadline. But we hope with the annual general meeting that is forthcoming, it will bring a leadership that is has stability, that will really begin to be focused on the matter, so that the land claim is fulfilled to the latter based on Lorna. So I was just putting those, not that I'm asking you to change the deadline of end of August, and whatever the difficulties will come back to you to say, we could not because of the following, oh yeah, we have made progress, and then we're able to report successfully on it. But those that are external matters will influence them, we'll try and push, and then we'll also come and give report on them in terms of succeeding or not succeeding, and what are the factors or obstacles along the way. But nonetheless, you have expressed a wish of a deadline. We'll try and work on it, but noting that it's not only us as the only player. Thank you very much.
No, thank you. Thank you, DM. Let's express our appreciation as the committee on this briefing and the commitment to try your level best to complete this by the end of August. We really appreciate that. We will track the work that gets done as part of our responsibility to monitor progress on on initiatives of this magnitude. Thank you, DM, very much, together with your team. Madam Trish Anekom and the board members, we also wish to express appreciation on your part, as well as Professor Trevor Fowler, together with the management team. We appreciate the work that you are doing, and make the final push. We know that you all have capacity to see this happening, and where you need our intervention, we are ready to assist, to put together all the necessary stakeholders that are required. If it needs be, we might have to be in the same room, all of us, one day, if things are not happening the way we want them to happen. With those few words, we really are grateful to get this briefing, and wish you all the best in the work that you do, and may you continue to ensure that the work that you do plays a meaningful or adds meaningful value into the works of a developmental state. Thank you. We wish to release you now, so that we can then go to the next item. Thank you very much, DM.
Thank you, and bye.
Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and committee members. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the day. Amanda, I just want to check now as we move to the next item, if we are still good in terms of the quorum. Amanda?
Yes, Chair, we're still good.
Okay, let's get into the minutes. These minutes were shared with us on our emails, as well as on emails, and then I hope that the members have gone through the minutes. So we will do the usual thing of just scrolling check first the page which has got the welcoming and the credentials, which is now the page that is on the screen. Those are the members that were present. Scroll down. And this is the day when we're dealing with matters relating to Janelle. Those were the apologies that we had received, and that the members of the staff that were in attendance, the opening remarks, and then the opening remarks by the Deputy Minister, the presentation by the management team. Scroll down. Members will just track if there are any things that they are wanting to note for correction, and then they can point us to that. Proceed. Scroll down. No, I mean, go up now because we have already gone through those pages. Go to the second page. Yes, move. You are moving very slowly though.
This is the last page.
Yeah, but we want to see the end of it.
Do I go up or do I go down? This
Towards
is the last page, Chair, of the minutes.
Okay.
This is the end, Chair.
This the end. That's the end. Okay. Okay, I see the deliberations. This is what I was not seeing on my side. Maybe other members were seeing it. Members, that's the set of minutes of the meeting which we had where we considered a briefing on Janelle. Andiva? Andiva Zindev?
Thanks, Chair.
Honorable Ngwenya?
Thanks very much, Chair. I would like to adopt the minutes as it is. Thanks very much.
Mamungwenya moves for the adoption of the minutes. Do we have a seconder?
Yes, Chair.
Modisa second.
Oh,
Modisa second, Honorable Chair.
Modisa second, the adoption of the minutes. Honorable members, let me thank you so much for your efficiency. And let me also thank you so much for always being ready, even when we move the meetings from Wednesday to Thursday. It's been quite a very hectic week for the NCOP. But I thank you for your for your commitment to doing your work and ensuring that we actually apply ourselves quite very well on matters. This now means that we have come to the conclusion of our committee meeting, and I thank you so much. And I wish you all the best as well during the period of the recess and constituency work. I'm sure we will still meet on certain occasions, especially oversight visits, which are intended for the Northern Cape province, of course, where we will be led by Honorable Modise. And we are also pursuing, honorable members, issue of a study tour. Please be on standby for that, because it is something that I hope that we will still carry within the next 2 months or so. So please be alive to that reality. We are finalizing the documentation. It's highly likely that we will go into a study tour, but the Secretariat will be in touch with you. Thank you very much, members. Have a lovely day.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you,
Chairperson Baba.
Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Mama.
Mama.
Bye.
Yes, Mama.
Bye,
Mama.
Mama.
Evan.
You thought you have misplaced the child of the group. Recording stopped.